as you can probably see, we're gonna be doing another sports news update whisper ramble, all about, at least for the most part, what I think, the most up-to-date current events going on in the sporting world today. We are, of course, going to be talking about the NBA start of the free agency, which so far has been weird, but interesting, but wild, but also kind of boring, but also kind of fun. We're going to talk about the NBA free agency today. We're also going to be talking about the Club World Cup play, which if you have no idea what that is, it's a soccer, football thing. We will also be taking a look at next season's NFL sort of favorites to win the Super Bowl. Maybe go through like a top 10 list of some sort. Talk maybe some baseball, some fighting, some racing, whatever we can talk about, think about. We'll be doing it today. So make sure you guys, of course, like the video. If you guys like me doing these sports whisper ramble videos and want me to continue to do them, maybe I'll stop one day. I don't know. If you want me to continue doing these, make sure you guys click that thumbs up button. It really helps out a lot. Also, comment down below. Anything comments really help out with the engagement. Really lets YouTube know that you guys are enjoying these videos. So comment, I don't know what your favorite team has done so far this season, this off season, whatever season it is for them. If you're excited for the NBA season next year, the NFL season, if baseball's your thing, let me know what's going on in your own sporting world. I would really love to know. NBA free agency, holy cow, a lot has happened. I think the first thing I do kind of want to talk about, first of all, and it might be kind of a Debbie Downer thing, is kind of the hype building into this NBA's offseason was big. No offense to the homie, Shams. He was really hyping up this offseason to be potentially one of the biggest in NBA free agency history. There's been some interesting moves, but nothing too wild. Obviously, of course, the first sort of big domino to fall was the trade of Kevin Durant from Houston to Phoenix, but that kind of happened during the NBA's draft, so that's not technically a free agency move, so I wouldn't really count that, but that's definitely the first domino that fell. But so far, nothing really else really big and major has happened. There's been some trades, there have been some signings, and even some releasings that have been interesting. I guess the most current up-to-date thing we should talk about, which is what this video is all about, is the ex-Portland Trailblazer Damian Lillard is a free agent. Which makes no sense. It's pretty crazy. Damian Lillard had, I think, a 2-year, like $100 million contract, give or take. And the Milwaukee Bucks are saying, hey, Dame, here's your $100 million. Now get off my team. Which, by the way, if you don't know how a contract buyout works, a lot of people kind of misjudge what that means. Basically, in the NBA, you have guaranteed money, and I think the contract, for the most part, is 100% guaranteed. Now, the player and the team can sort of have a conversation on, hey, team says to the player, can you give us like 10 mil, 20 mil off, and just help us out a little bit? And sometimes players will take a little bit of a pay cut just to get off the team that they're on. In that case, that did happen to another Portland Trailblazer, DeAndre Ayton, who also had their contract bought out. I think DeAndre Ayton gave up like, I think 5 mil or 10 mil just to get off the team. So some players do that, but I think Damian Lillard is 100% getting all of his money. Also in free agency news, Miles Turner is going to the Milwaukee Bucks, which, if you know anything about basketball, at least in the current day, there are not a lot of NBA rivalries, but the Pacers and the Bucks is one I say that's on fire right now, and the fact that a Pacer starter is choosing to sign and play with the enemy Milwaukee Bucks is crazy. Now apparently Miles Turner and Giannis Antetokounmpo are good friends, which I don't know how that relationship works, but I guess they are. That's an interesting friendship. And I guess Giannis convinced him to sign with Milwaukee. So man, shout out to Giannis. Giannis got Dame there. Giannis got Miles Turner there. He's a friendly guy, so I can kind of understand how he's getting these free agents or people just to want to play with him. There have been a lot of extensions. So like SGA is staying on the Thunder for the foreseeable future. So is players like Jaren Jackson Jr. There are a lot of players who have had big time extensions, which I think is definitely a really good thing. Just some random trades. You have the Denver Nuggets, who, in my opinion, maybe besides the Houston Rockets, are the winners of this current NBA free agency. The Denver Nuggets, who, again, guys, I picked to be this year's NBA champions. If you missed out my last video, I did pick Denver to be my stupidly early NBA championship pick for this next season. I did pick Denver, and Denver is making depth moves. It is insane. Denver trades away Dario Saric for Jonas Valanciunas, so now you get a really good backup center for already the best center in the NBA, Nikola Jokic. That's amazing. Of course, Denver also traded Michael Porter Jr. for Cam Johnson, which I know for some of you guys, you want me to pump the brakes on this, but guys, this is such a good trade for the Denver Nuggets. Now, the Denver Nuggets do have to give up a draft pick in like 2032 or something like that. And of course, the Denver Nuggets are probably not going to be that great then, because of course Nikola Jokic is going to be like almost 40 years old at that time. But that's something you have to eat to be a successful team. You have to sacrifice your future to win now. And when you have a top 10 plus, maybe even a top 5 center of all time, and Nikola Jokic talent-wise, you gotta sacrifice the future. Now, Michael Porter Jr. isn't a bad player. He just, in my opinion, doesn't fit the Denver Nuggets system of defense and, all-around playing with Nikola Jokic. I do know that Michael Porter Jr. is a good shooter, but so is Cam Johnson, and Cam Johnson has a way higher basketball IQ than Michael Porter Jr. He's a way better defender, a little bit more consistent kind of guy. I feel like his mindset is a little bit more championship ready than a guy like Michael Porter Jr., who already is an NBA champion. But I would believe that Cam Johnson is a little bit more fit for the bill of this task. So I'm really happy that they got Cam Johnson, who I actually really like as a player. And then the Brooklyn Nets get a guy who potentially has some all-star upside. I think Michael Porter Jr. on his own team, like he used to be back in high school when he was highly recruited going into college. Maybe we see a pop. Maybe he puts up 25 points a game. Kind of has some all-star buzz. I can see it happening. So, again, Denver has just been on a roll right now this current offseason. Talking about the Houston Rockets, the Houston Rockets did sign a bunch of players, and obviously trading for Kevin Durant sort of started that. They signed, I think, Dorian Finney-Smith, taking him away from the Lakers. They signed Clint Capella, taking him away from the Lakers. Basically, they made a bunch of moves to take players away from the LA Lakers, which I think is super funny. But yeah, I think those two teams have been my sort of biggest woes so far this year. Jordan Clarkson joined the New York Knicks, which I think, in my opinion, is actually a pretty massive signing. Jordan Clarkson won 6th Man of the Year a couple years ago, and is still a viable, like, 15-point per game scorer off the bench. Which, if you guys don't remember the New York Knicks last year, oh my god, they desperately needed any kind of help off the bench, and sometimes they got it, most of the time they didn't. And so getting that with Jordan Clarkson on that team for the Knicks is actually a pretty key signing, with, of course, the Eastern Conference being as open as it is. A lot of teams taking the opportunity to do that. I.e., example, the Atlanta Hawks, who actually just got Kristaps Porzingis, which is wild. I think they also got Nickeil Alexander-Walker, who's also a really solid role player. The Hawks are potentially going to make a run at the Eastern Conference Finals again, which it's been like 6 years since they've been to one. It's kind of crazy. So the Hawks are making a push. There's a lot of teams in the East making a push. The Raptors are still trying to make a push. Man, the Eastern Conference next year with the Pacers, the Celtics, all these teams kind of out for the count right now. The Bucks even for sure. I'm so excited to watch the Eastern Conference next year. We're gonna have like the Atlanta Hawks against the New York Knicks in the Eastern Conference Finals or something random. It's gonna be like two super random teams in the East. It's gonna be really cool. We do have the FIFA, yes it is FIFA, the FIFA Club World Cup. Now, obviously over the vast handful of weeks you guys have told me to talk about this, and I've always been saying sure I will, and I just never did. I'm sorry. I don't know. I think my hype is just so focused on the actual World Cup this past year, and I mean calendar year. This past calendar year, I just haven't really been that super into soccer. If you guys would have asked me a year before that or 2 years before that, I would have been soccer's probably my second favorite sport to watch, but I haven't really been that interested in it recently. But if you want to know what the FIFA Club World Cup is, the FIFA Club World Cup is an international men's association football competition organized by FIFA to determine the world's best club team. It features the champions from each of FIFA's 6 continental confederations, along as teams that host from different nations. The newly expanded 2025, I don't need to talk about that, but it's basically just a bunch of really good teams coming together from around the world and seeing who the best is. And just like the actual World Cup, there was a pooling of teams, like Group A, Group B, Group C, Group D, Group E, and there were different teams in each group. They played against each other, and the best teams from each group move on to the bracket to play, which I know I'm very late to this, but they're already in the bracket stage of things. We had Inter Milan, Man City, we had who else was there? PSG, we had Bayern Munich. A lot of actually really good teams. PSG is also in it, Real Madrid. Some really fun teams. We are currently in the quarterfinals of the bracket, which again, if you guys want me to do a more in-depth look at this this topic on this video. Sorry, my nose is itchy. Just let me know by commenting it down below. The quarterfinals for the bracket, starting on the left side. Oh god, I'm gonna butcher this name. Fluminense FC. I have never heard of this team before in my life, and I apologize. And you have HIL. It's Al Hilal. Again, teams I've never heard of before. And those teams will be facing off the 4th of July, actually, July 4th. By the way, I totally forgot that in other parts of the world, it's day and then month. Obviously in the US, we do month and then day. So I was looking at this for a second being wait, this is April 7th. April 7th already happened. It's July 4th. The 4th of July. They will face off then, which is kind of cool, very close. And then you have SEP. Who's SEP? We have Palmeiras. They're going to be taking on Chelsea, which is, yes, finally a team I actually know. That's kind of cool that Chelsea is still here. I think I'll probably take Chelsea in this matchup. Chelsea looked really good in their first round of 16 matchup, beating their previous opponent by 3 goals, 4-1. Pretty exciting. Actually, what's actually really interesting is that Man City was also a team that was in the bracket. Same thing with Inter Milan. Those two teams are very notable in the world of football. But they actually both lost their first round matchups to the teams that we just talked about before. So Inter Milan, Man City, 2 top dogs, at least in the world of the eyes of the sporting world, lost actually to these 2 teams. So maybe a kind of an underdog story there. But I'm gonna take Chelsea making it out of that side of the bracket, at least as of right now. The other side of the bracket for me is a shot in the dark. The other side of the bracket is interesting. We have PSG taking on Bayern Munich, which in my opinion could be the best matchup of this entire show, this entire cup play. That could be really cool to see. They will face each other the day after the 4th of July, on July 5th. They will face off July 5th. That's going to be a really good game. And then you have Real Madrid taking on I think that's how it's called, but it's Dortmund. Shout out to Dortmund, who have been very successful in their play for a pretty decent amount of time now, at least in like the current age of sports. They've been looking really good. Dortmund actually won their last game 2-1, and Real Madrid beat Juventus, which I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. Juventus 1-0. PSG swept their team 4-0, 4-0, sweeping that game away from them. They are looking pretty powerful right now. I actually didn't watch the Bayern Munich game on TV. I watched the Bayern Munich game on TV. They also looked really good, scoring 4 goals, 4-2. And yeah, I think, in my opinion, that will be the best game of the entire cup play. So again, the 5th of July, not the 4th, the 5th of July. If you wanted to get into football, if you want to take a look at it, that will be the game to watch. That's going to be a super exciting game. I can't wait. Now the final, like the championship cup play, will be the 13th of July. So in like about 2 weeks, if you guys want me to do a video talking about the championship cup game, let me know. Let me know down below in the comments. And yeah, it's been pretty cool. And before anyone asks, yes, there were teams from the US who were involved in these games. I think the most notable one was, of course, Miami, who of course does have Messi. They do have Messi on that team, but if I can remember, I think Messi got hurt or couldn't play, or they just didn't do that well. The Sounders from Seattle were also playing. They obviously got smacked up and down the field. And same thing with the LAFC, which is of course the LA-based soccer team. They also got just demolished in the cup play. So if you guys ever want to know the MLS, the American soccer teams, my God, they cannot keep up with these other teams, which makes a lot of sense, which is really cool. Really cool to see that. So the cup play has been fun. I've watched a couple games actually. It's just, I love it when they sort of get these teams from around the world to play against each other to see who's the best, and that's always cool. That's why I do like the Champions League as well, because it's kind of the same thing. You're just taking the best teams and seeing who's the best, and we're doing it again this year. And of course, the next summer, the next summer, the summer of 2026, we're back with the World Cup, and I will definitely be doing a lot of videos talking about the World Cup and my picks and predictions and players and blah blah blah. I'll make a bracket and make my predictions. It's gonna be a lot of fun. That'll be coming here next summer in the US, which is really cool. Now obviously I can't make this video too short and only talking about 2 sports, so let's talk about the NFL really quickly. I know some people have been wanting me to talk about the NFL, but there just haven't really been anything just super crazy to talk about. As of right now, currently at the recording of this video, even a power ranking. There hasn't even been a power ranking for next season yet. I think they're slowly starting to come out with sort of like topics to talk about for the NFL, but they haven't even come up with like a power ranking, so I can't even talk about the future of the teams, but I'm gonna try my best to. There are a couple of topics we could talk about. There's actually an article on ESPN for that specific thing. We have the NFL's FPI ranking, which, if you don't know what the FPI is, it basically just determines how good a team is. It's the prediction of how good a team is. And currently, for the NFL's 2025 rankings, the Eagles are still ranked the #1 team in football, which, no duh, they just won a Super Bowl. They're basically the same stacked team. That Eagle franchise is looking really good to be able to repeat, which, man, the Chiefs are ranked #2, and then a lot of people's picks, and at least that I've seen, at least on the internet, which I should probably state there is a big gap between 5 and 6. It seems like there's kind of a general consensus on the top 5 teams, and kind of a fall off after that. I've also heard that the Rams could be like a sneaky playoff Super Bowl team, which is always good to hear. If you guys don't know, my dad's favorite team is the Rams. He loves the Rams. I like the Chargers. I like the Rams too. They're a fun squad. But yeah, in my opinion, if I had to pick a Super Bowl winner, I would also say probably the Eagles going back to back, but I would probably say the Ravens would be like my fun pick because they haven't won a title in a while. Speaking of the Ravens, they actually have the top 10. The top 100. Oh my God, they have the top 100 ranked NFL players. And if you don't know, Lamar Jackson, at least according to this list, is number 1 ranked in the league as the best player in all of football. Do you agree with that? Do you think Lamar Jackson is the best football player on planet Earth right now? You can let me know down in the comments. They have a bunch of other topics on here, like most likely Super Bowl matchups. The most likely Super Bowl matchups are Eagles-Chiefs, a rematch. Eagles-Ravens, that would be cinema. That'd be so cool. Eagles-Bills, Lion-Bills, Lion-Ravens. So it looks like it's either going to be the Eagles or the Lions for the NFC, and then a couple of different teams from the AFC. That's pretty cool to see. We have the best chance percentage-wise to win the Super Bowl. The number 1% team for 12% are the Eagles, which I guess a 12% chance to make the Super Bowl is a good one. You have the Chiefs with 11, Bills at 10, and the Ravens 9, with Lions at 5. So again, the same sort of teams I mentioned earlier. Eagles, Chiefs, Bills, Ravens, Lions are definitely the consensus top 5. Which makes sense. Those teams are really good when they are fully healthy. You have the Rams at 5. The Rams at 5%. Chargers at 4%. So my favorite teams. They got a shot. I appreciate that. Alright, and then like a quick rundown of some other things that are going around in the world of sports. We do have baseball still going on right now. Let's check out just like the league standings. Right now the Tigers are the number 1 team in the American League, followed by the Astros, the Yankees, Blue Jays, and the Rays. My favorite team, the Angels, are in 7th. Let's go. They are a game and a half behind the wild card spot. We also have the National League with, of course, the Dodgers in 1st. Who would have thought? Followed by the Cubs, Phillies, Mets, and the Brewers. My other favorite team, the San Diego Padres, are only a half game back of the wild card. Come on, please, both my teams. Please, both my teams. You do still have the Rockies going on a historic run as one of the worst teams I've ever seen in baseball, only winning so far 19 games, as they are 19-66. Yes, it's a sports team that has lost 66 games. That is crazy. In the world of like UFC, I don't really know what's really going on. I know there was just a big UFC a handful of days ago. I think it was UFC 316. I think was a big one. Yeah, the Sean O'Malley fight. We had UFC 317 not that long ago. I think that was on June 28th over that weekend. Let's see if there's like another big one. UFC 318. Oh yeah, Max Holloway fights Dustin Poirier. That's gonna be a good fight, man. That's gonna be good. That's on July 19th, Saturday. July 19th. That's gonna be a really good fight there. Oh my goodness. 319. Maybe some good fights there too. Yeah, man, the UFC has been cooking recently, but yeah, that's gonna be a very exciting one there. Anything else we can really just sink our teeth into? I'm not sure. We do have the WNBA. I think they had like their cup play, which just how like the NBA has their, I forget what it's called. It's the Emirates Cup. They like their mid-season tournament. The WNBA just had theirs, and of course the Fever won that one. It's the team with Caitlin Clark on it, but Caitlin Clark, I don't even think played in that game, but the Indiana Fever still won that, and that's really cool. exciting. Yeah, there are some things going on in the world of sports, but I hate this time of year. In my opinion, like the summer is like the worst time of year for sports. It's so boring. Get me to the fall. I can't wait for the fall. Basketball, football, all the sports are going on at one time. I love the fall when it comes to sports. But yeah, guys, thank you guys so much for watching tonight's video. If there's any other topics you guys want me to talk about, please let me know down below. I love you. Love you, love you, love you, love you, love you. If you want me to go a little bit more in depth on any of these topics, let me know down in the comments. Or anything else going on in the sporting world, let me know. I'll see you guys in another video very, 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 very soon. I gotta go. There's a loud car outside. Bye. Bye, 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 bye. Loud cars. I gotta go.